Hello everyone and welcome to Dotloop's Android app training webinar. On the left of the screen here, you'll see a brief overview of the agenda. We're going to start with app download. Now I realize this may be or may seem to be for some of you more of a beginner level topic, but I do want to make sure that everybody knows how to get the Dotloop app onto their device. So if they're doing it now, you can follow along. Now that might take a minute for that app to download, so I'm going to go ahead and start that process now, and then we'll jump back over here to the rest of the agenda. We'll discuss while that's downloading what we're going to talk about. So if you don't have the Dotloop app on your device today, what you'll do is go to the Google Play Store and you'll search for Dotloop. So I'm going to open up the Google Play Store here, and I'm just going to type in Dotloop. And it should be the first option in the upper left hand corner here. It's free, so we'll click on this and we'll install it. So again, while that's installing, let's talk about the other topics we'll hit today. I want to go over with you some basic app navigation. Then we'll go in and we'll create a loop together, and one of the main topics here, since we're working with a mobile device, is how do you get documents from your email into Dotloop. So we'll talk about the different ways to do that, and I'll give you a solid way for you to do that. Okay, it's a basic, it's an easy process, but I'll show you a couple different ways to do that. Then we'll go in and we'll talk about editing documents, bringing them in from templates or from using the camera on your phone, and we'll talk about the sharing and signing experiences. And as we go here, I may mention some of the features that aren't included with the app. It will not necessarily be an exhaustive list of everything that's not included on the app, but as a general rule, if you've given every corner and every button and every drop down a solid look, and you're trying to find a feature or maybe a certain field type you're trying to lay onto a PDF, or maybe a certain document option, if you can't find it, there's a chance that it just might not be a part of the app yet. And you can always call into support at 888-DOTLOOP to ask questions about the app as well. So I'm actually an Apple user myself. I have an iPhone and an iPad. So this Samsung tablet that I'm using here is actually a little bit foreign to myself, but I'm going to take you through and show you just how easy it is, regardless of what your preferred device is. So let's go to the home page here, or to the main page, home screen of our tablet, and it looks like Dotloop has been installed. So all we have to do now is click on that to open it up, and I'm going to be asked to either sign in or sign up. Now, if you have an account created already, you'll of course want to click the sign in button, and then you'll enter your email and your password. So I'm going to log into a training account that I have. Okay. Now, if you've forgotten your password, you can always click the forgot password link, and you will get an email that will send you, after you enter this code here, an email that will send you a request password link. This often happens with agents who are underneath a larger kind of enterprise level account, and they may have been signing in through a different website, what's called a single sign-on through an intranet. If that's the case and you've never actually logged in directly through dotloop.com or through the app, you may have to click the forgot password link to get access. All right, and that's what it looks like there. And I seem to have forgot my password, so bear with me here for just a second. Let me make sure I got my email typed in correctly. All right, now, after you get signed in, you're going to have a brief navigation tutorial for you. So I'll go ahead and click through it with you here. It says create a loop in the bottom right hand corner. You'll see that plus sign. If you click next here, we'll move up to the top and it will show you that your menu option is up here in the upper left hand corner. So you can see in this grayed out area we don't have a full global navigation bar like you would say on the desktop version. So actually let me pause here and I'm going to switch over to the desktop view of Dotloop just to cross compare a little bit. You'll notice on desktop we have all these icons in the upper right hand corner: global templates, people, tasks, home page. Whereas on the app over here we don't have all those same options. It's over here in the menu bar. All right, so there are some visual changes, and the reason that is because the team that develops the app, both Android and Apple, they don't have as much space on these smaller devices, so they have to consolidate some things. And so just play around with it for a little bit, and you'll start getting used to this on your mobile device. Now we're going to click next one more time, and this is going to point out that you have your filter options, sort and filter options in the upper right hand corner. All right, so we'll click got it, and all right, click got it, and now we're on our home page where all of our transactions exist. Now let's do our own little bit of navigation here. I'm going to go up here in the upper right hand corner and click the filter and sort option. So here we have filter and sort. Right now I'm sorting by the default method, but the drop down over here on the right will allow me to switch to MLS number, last updated, which is my personal preference, last updated, and so on. We'll just click OK right here. And then you can filter by loop status, which is the traditional agent filter. If you're underneath an office that's using Dotloop's Teams product or Business Plus product, meaning your office uses this at an office level, then you may also see filters for the review stage of each folder that's in a loop. But again, basic training on desktop and or mobile, the loop status is typically what an agent will filter by if they choose to set filters. All right, I'm going to apply that new sorting option, which will move all the loops I've created or worked on most recently to the top. There is a search bar in the upper right hand corner. All right. And then over here on the left, our menu. If we click on our menu, we'll have a pop out from the left-hand side of the screen where we can see global, well, we'll see the loops option, which will take us always to our home page, global tasks, people, templates, settings, and then feedback. So again, loops takes us to the home page. Tasks will take us to our global task section. Now at the moment, all you see in the task section are the name of the tasks. So as you'll see when we switch over to the task section, or I'm sorry, when we're in a loop or in the template section, you'll see a notification that says we're working on tasks for mobile. So at the moment, you do not have full task functionality, but that is something that they're working on for Android. So I'm going to skip ahead to people. This is your global people section, similar to the desktop. You can open up or click on a person's name and you'll see the information that you've added, and you'll be able to add or edit existing information. Now in our global template section, we're just focused on the documents that are available or have been made available by either our office, team, association, board, or MLS. That's if Dotloop's partnered with an MLS or association in your region, or if your office is using Dotloop's business product. There currently is not the ability to add extra documents or create document sets or folder sets from your template library. You would want to do that from your desktop, and then they would appear here. Now there is still an inbox that you can use, and we're going to discuss that here in a minute when we talk about moving documents from your email into Dotloop. We'll be coming back and talking about this global templates inbox. For now, we're going to move on to settings, where you have some basic notification settings. You're going to have a more robust settings area if you're checking out under My Account on your desktop. Right? So just remember that you can always switch back or even log in directly through the browser on your tablet to have the full Dotloop version. And finally, we'll back out of the settings here. We have actually provided an area for feedback. So if there is something that you would like to see, or if you are experiencing something odd, you don't think it's working the right way, you can report a bug or send your feedback or suggestions directly to our Android development team, and that's right over here on the left-hand side in the menu at the bottom, send feedback. We rely on your feedback. We develop, Dotloop is built for and by real estate agents, so any feedback you have, it doesn't take but a second, and you're helping everybody, including yourself. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about creating a loop. So we've showed you how to download and sign in. We've gone through some basic navigation. Now let's create a loop. And while we're in that loop, we'll of course discuss basic navigation within a transaction. So back to our home page, I'm going to click over here, click on loops to get back to our home page. Bottom right hand corner, I'm going to create a new loop. And let's just name this 4007 Mountain Drive. And then we'll click the check in the upper right hand corner to adopt that as our loop name. Now you're going to see that the inside of this loop does look a little bit different than your desktop. The way this has been laid out is we have our document section, people, tasks, and in the upper right hand corner we have our details and then your show archive. So if you archive a document or a folder, this is how you would view those archived documents or folders. Details section, tasks, people, documents. So it's actually, we've kept it very simple. You're on your documents page when you create a loop. So if you'd like to add documents to your folder, go down to the bottom right and click the plus sign. And you have several options. Scan a document, which we're going to come to in a minute. Add from templates, which we'll also get to. Add from device, so any type of app that you may have on your device or any type of document that you may have stored somewhere on your device can be brought in. That'd be a PDF, right? Or you can add from email, and then this is also where you would go to create a new folder. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a new folder. I'm just going to create a second folder, and then I'm going to show you how to bring in documents from your email. I'm going to show you several different ways to do that. So let's go ahead and create a new folder. I realize we have one already, but I just want to show you this process. All right, we'll name this folder, let's call it Seller Docs. So we're going to have one folder for the offer that we're putting together, and then we'll have a second folder for our seller documents. Now, to add documents from your email, you could click Add from Email, and then it's going to ask you to select a folder. All right, and then you'll have this long email address. So every folder of Dotloop has an email address, and we would want to copy that. So let me do it one more time. Add from email, select a folder, and then we will click on this and highlight and copy it. So you see how it says copied here? All I did was tap on that, and that was copied. Now what we do is we close Dotloop down. We go to our preferred mail app on our computer. So mine's right here in this email app. I find the email that I want to forward documents into that loop for. So these are examples of seller documents. So if I'm making an offer on a home, I'm going to get the lead-based paint if necessary for that home. I'm going to get the seller's disclosure and some other documents from the listing agent or maybe from the MLS. In this case, we have two attachments directly from the listing agent. So what I'm going to do is forward this. Just click the forward button. See how I have an email with two PDFs? Forward. And then in the to, I would paste that link that I just copied. All right, that's not the right one there, but you would press and hold and you would paste that long email address that ends in upload.dotloop.com, and then you would press send. And what happens is next time you go back to Dotloop, those PDFs will be in that folder of that loop. So we're going to close down our mail app. We're going to open up Dotloop, and then you would have those documents in your folder. Now, another way to do it, all right, another way to get these, and there you see they just popped in. So another way to get the documents, if that doesn't work for you, if you're having trouble on your device copying and pasting that link, here's the surefire way to do this. And so let me go ahead and create another folder. All right. Now this involves a little bit of work beforehand, but it's worth doing for the future. So here's the setup for this. You're going to log into your desktop, or next time you're logged into your desktop, go to your global template section. So right now we're not looking in the app. We're actually logged in the browser on our computer. I'm going to go to the global template section, and in the upper left-hand corner, there is an email address that ends in upload.dotloop.com. It's typically going to be, your first name dot last name dot some number at upload.dotloop.com. But that's why you need to go to your template section and actually copy this, right click and copy this directly so that you make sure you have the right email address. Then what you do is you go to your email, and you can either compose a new email, or if you actually have something that you're ready to forward into Dotloop, you could find, a document that another agent sent you, and you would forward it, just like I showed you with that other longer link. So here's an example of an email where I have an offer from an agent. I'm going to forward this, and then in the to, who I'm sending this to, I'm going to paste that much shorter upload email address. This never changes. You can reuse this and send whatever PDF attachments to this over and over again. And rather than having it sent directly into a folder of a loop, when we press send, this will forward into, let's go back to Dotloop now. This will forward into the inbox folder of our global templates document section. So we're in the global templates documents, and anytime you forward something to this address or send something to this address as a PDF attachment, it will go into your inbox. So here it is right here. So let's see how that transfers over now to the app. The reason I said do it on your desktop first is because now that you have used or sent something to your upload email address in your inbox on your desktop, when you do that on your tablet, your email should remember that as a contact. So let's go back to the app. Let's close the app down. Let's go back to our email. Let's click forward. And now in the to, I'm just going to start typing Hunter, and you'll see that I get, a suggestion from a previous contact. That's because I've sent something to this address before. So it's just easy when you're reviewing your email and you have documents from another agent and you want to put them into Dotloop. It's just easy to start typing and then select it and then press send. You don't have to go to Dotloop to copy a link and then come back and paste it. Now, the upside of this is exactly what I said. It's easy to use, and you're looking at your email and you can just go ahead and press the forward button. The downside of doing it this way is that when you do go back to Dotloop, so I'm going to move back to Dotloop, that document did not get sent directly into your 4000 Mountain Drive. It didn't know where to go. It went to your global template section. But all you have to do is click the plus button, click add from templates, and now you'll see your global inbox folder that has those documents that you forward in, and then you'll click the checkbox in the upper right hand corner. Those two documents can be now copied into whatever folder in your loop that you'd like, and then we'll just click the checkbox again to confirm that action, and now you can see I've uploaded those into this loop here. To the right of each folder, you have a drop down on the right that gives you those familiar options to share, copy the document, rename, or archive. So don't forget about the drop downs on the right. So back into Mountain Drive. And again, the reason 4,000 Mountain Drive's at the top is because I sorted by last updated. Now I'm going to click the plus sign in the bottom right here. And now I'm going to choose the Add from Template option. Here are the templates in my global template section. So I'm going to scroll down to my offer packet here, and I'll go ahead and choose these two. Checkbox in the upper right hand corner will add those to the folder that I select here. So I'm going to add this to the folder named folder. Click the checkbox, and now we have those documents in here. Now we're going to open up the contract. Just click on it to open it. All right, we got a little tooltip here just telling us that we can click on the pen to start editing, and then it's also going to show us where the share button is. So to edit the document, this is a template, so it already has interactive fields placed on it. And for those of you who have documents, templates that were made available by your office or association or other, you'll be familiar with how these work. The signatures are already placed on here. So I'm going to just click in the purchase price field here, or I'm sorry, click on the pen in the bottom right, click on the purchase price field here, just to show you that I can easily edit these documents. All right, so we click into the field, and then we just start typing. All right, then we click OK, and then we would move on to the next document. Now, for an Apple user, the scroll is vertical. For the Android, you would actually swipe from left to right or right to left. All right, so I'm going to swipe to the next page here. All right, just from right to left, swipes you through the document. Now to assign fields and to edit fields, it's all very simple. You'll get the feel of it. Just click into a field after you've clicked the pen to start editing. And in this case, we can see that this is assigned to the buyer role. And to assign it to someone else, you would just click in the upper right-hand corner here. And you can assign it directly to a person, or you can assign it to no one if you don't want anyone to sign there. So let's go ahead and assign this to a specific person. I haven't added anyone to this loop yet. You could have in the people section, but you can also do it on the fly here. So I'm going to go down to the bottom right, click the plus sign. Let's add Frank Smith. And here's all the people that I've worked with before. All right, so email. And we can select a role for him as well. Let's say he's our buyer. And then we'll click the checkbox here. You just saw there, it's showing you where the host in-person signing option is. We're going to come to that a little later. For now, I just wanted to show you how to click into the fields to edit them, as well as how to assign or unassign a signature field. So when we click the back button up here in the upper left-hand corner, that will actually prompt us when we click the check now to save it. Document has been saved. And then we can back out and move on to the next document. Or we could click Share in the upper right-hand corner to select the person that we'd like to sign. The drop down on the right will allow us to give them the proper privilege. And then if you're a premium user, you can also attach a PDF to the email. So this is just like what you would do on desktop as far as what your clients will receive via email. They'll receive an email with a link to e-sign the documents. If you want to type a custom message here, you can do that as well. All right, I'm not going to share this just yet, so I'm going to back out. I want to show you one more thing that I ran into earlier this morning when I was playing around with the Android app myself, and that was the strike-through feature. So when you go up here to the upper right-hand corner, these three little drop-downs, or I'm sorry, when you click the edit option and then the plus option in the upper right hand corner, when you're looking at a template, if strike through is enabled in your state, you can click to place a strike through. Now, what's difficult here, what actually honestly took me a minute to figure out, was how to get rid of that if I didn't like that placement. Because as an Apple user, I'm used to having one button at the bottom to go home or to power down. There's actually, on the tablet that I'm using, there's a button on the right. It's like a little, not quite a refresh button, but like a return button. And when you click that return button, it's almost like going back. And that will actually, when you say do not save changes, that will remove the strike through. So I'm going to go back one more time here. So just a little tip there, if you place a strike through that you did not mean to. Let's see. Now let's talk about the scan document feature. Now over the summer, I'll give you a real world scenario. Over the summer, my wife and I were looking for houses for ourselves. I'm a licensed agent, so of course I was just going to put the offer in. And we were looking at this house. We were standing there in the kitchen, and there was a nice kind of laminated booklet of seller improvements to the home, but also the lead-based paint and the seller's disclosure. And I remembered not seeing those documents in the MLS earlier, and I had messaged the other agent to ask her for copies of those, but hadn't heard anything back yet. So real world scenario, you don't have the disclosures, you're waiting on the other agent to get them to you. Maybe they're busy, for whatever reason it's taken too long. I had them sitting right there in front of me at that house, but it was the house's copy. It wasn't for me to take. It was for everybody coming in to look at that house. So what I did was I just got my phone out and I opened up Dotloop, and it was a little bit different on Apple, of course, but same idea. I clicked Add Document, Scan a Document, and that brought up my camera. And I don't have a document sitting in front of me here, but you can imagine if I did on the desk here, I would snap a picture of it, right? Take a picture. And what we do is we convert whatever image you take into a PDF. So if I did just take a picture of a document, I would click OK, and that would move that into that folder. I could rename it, of course, select the folder, and then click the check in the upper right-hand corner. And I could now place fields on it just like you would any PDF that you brought into your loop. So I'll go ahead and click on that to open it up. And although this is just a picture of a desk with a couple cords, you can imagine, a lead-based paint being right here on the table. And then I click the edit button in the bottom right-hand corner, and I place signatures for my buyers, in this case, myself and my wife. So upper right-hand corner, plus we have signature, initial, text, date, name, okay, checkbox, and strike through. You'll notice radio button is missing. Again, you're not necessarily going to have every feature that's offered on desktop, but it's really easy to place these tools. If I just click on or tap with my finger text, now I can click to place that text box. You'll see that I have 4 corners. To click and drag that to extend it, I can click or place and drag with my finger this text box into other areas of the document, and then I can choose to edit this. All right, we'll click OK. Now click out of that text field, right? So anywhere on the document itself, or the image in this case, and you'll be able to add another field. So now I can place a signature, click in it, and now you can assign it in the upper right-hand corner, assign to a person, and I'm going to choose Frank. And then we will save this, or you can share it. So let's save that. We can share it here, or we can go back to the main page of our loop. Just as a quick recap here, that was how you can use the scan feature, but let's go back to these PDFs that we emailed in from the other agent. just so nobody's confused at why I was placing fields onto an image of a desk. The same tools apply when you've brought in a PDF from another agent or something that you scanned to yourself. Let's click on this lead-based paint PDF. I'm going to click the edit field in the bottom right, click add in the upper right. I'm going to add a signature, click to place, click and hold with your finger to drag it, and then any corner, you can always zoom in on this too. You can, the pinch, right? Pinch to zoom in, pinch to zoom out. And the bottom right-hand corner here, you can resize. Just like that. Drag it around, tap in it, upper right-hand corner, assign to a person or add a person if they're not in there yet. And again, we'll choose Frank. All right, now let's say that we're ready to have Frank initial this and sign it. Of course, I would have placed initial fields up here, but it's the same as placing a text box or a signature as far as moving them around and resizing them. So let's move on to hosting and in-person signing. I'm going to save this. That's the traditional share button. And now here's the host in-person signing. Right here in this little 3-dot drop down, host in-person signing, it says select a signer. So Frank's the only person that has signatures assigned to him. So let's click on Frank. And now we will hand our device over to Frank. I'll give him my tablet and he'll click begin signing. The nice thing about hosting an in-person signing on an app is that you're logged in as the agent, you're logged in into the app. And when the client clicks begin signing, it takes them into the default browser on whatever device you're using, takes them directly to Dotloop. And all they have to do is click start. It'll take them through where they need to sign. They'll click in those fields just like they do on their desktop, but they're using their finger. And then they can draw or adopt their signature with the text here. And when they're done signing, right, we'll click finish. Again, the nice thing is that you can just close down that browser when they hand it back to you, go back into Dotloop, and then you're going to have that signature captured. Now you're back in your agent account. For those of you familiar with in-person signing, if you do this on your desktop, if you host an in-person signing on the desktop, because you're already in a browser window, it actually logs you out. And then you have to, after you host the in-person signing, you have to log the client out and log yourself back in. So the app is really smooth because you can just go from app to browser, back to the app, and you're already logged in. All right, so we've talked about how to download, some basic app navigation, loop creation, how to bring in documents from email, several different ways, document editing, both PDFs and templates, how to scan documents in using the camera on your device, which is always cool, and then how you can share documents and how you can so share in a traditional sense of giving them a privilege which sends them an email so that they can sign wherever they're at. And then we talked about in-person signing. Now I want to bring up a quick slide that talks about features that are not included on the app. And for anybody who ends up watching this recording at a later date, this could of course be out of date by the time you watch this, because we're constantly editing and adding features to both the Apple and the Android app. But here's a list. You can see on desktop, you cannot scan a device in from your desktop or add documents from a photo gallery or from Dropbox. But on Android, you can. But now you'll see that on Android, you can't add documents to your global template section. If you have templates that already exist there, because maybe your office or association added them and you're associated with them, or maybe you created your own templates on your desktop, then they will appear in your app, but you cannot add documents to your global template section with the exception of the inbox feature that I showed you. You cannot yet add a photo to the loop, so you are missing that, but I imagine that's something that will surely bring. Autofill, so the autofill window for interactive templates is not currently a feature, but I'm sure that will as well. There is not currently a submit to review button for those of you who are underneath an office that's using Business or Business Plus, or maybe your team is using the team account. Then the submit button is not there on mobile, but that's surely something that will be coming out. And then I unfortunately just don't have timelines on these. This submit to green sheet, tracks, and home base, if you don't know what these terms mean, it's not relevant to you. These are for agents who are underneath a brand that has like an enterprise level solution that they've worked out with Dotloop, kind of a custom solution that allows them to submit not just through Dotloop's Business or Business Plus product, but actually into an integrated back-end system that the company was using before they purchased Dotloop. Dotloop's business product. The remove a person from a loop is not currently a feature of the app, but you can always do these things from the full desktop version. Merge loops and the activity log, okay, and that pretty much sums it up. If this does not mean this is a perfect list. I got this from a friend of mine here in the office just the other day, and I have not checked it for 100% accuracy. But again, if you're using the app and you've exhausted all buttons and drop downs and it seems like you're not seeing the feature that you want, scan and split and rotate, for example, those types of things, if that stuff's not, you don't find it, the ability to fax out if you're a premium member, it might just not be a part of the app yet. Okay, and we may or may not be working on adding that piece, but support can help you look into those types of questions. 888.loop or support@dotloop.com. So go ahead and type up any final questions. I'm going to go ahead and officially end the webinar here and say thank you for joining us and have a great day and happy looping.